On this campus, it would be quite silly for me to deny that there have not been racial incidents, and I've voiced many times my own incidents and clashes with racism on this campus, and to say it's an isolated thing, and that and this little letter I printed out that was in the Daily Campus today by the Interfraternity Council president, who I don't know personally, but I'm sure he's a great guy. But just a couple things I need to critique on that, sorry. We need to learn that this is not a radical movement, this is a logical movement. There is nothing radical about this. There's nothing radical about caring about other people. There's nothing radical about speaking out against injustice, because that's what it is. And the denial of that is beyond me, and it speaks more to complacency. It speaks to a certain apathy that is ingrained in the system, and it is a disease. It is insidious, and it needs to be eradicated. And complacency is just as bad as aggression. So I will go with the prompt. And this is not only a time to voice your opinions about how you think that this is being handled, how it should be handled. I see there are a lot of different people in the crowd, and I'm so excited. But this is also a time to just kind of vent. I mean, we have a time schedule, but no voice will go unheard if you're willing to speak. So let's play a game of what if. What if we were the University of Oklahoma? What if we were the first people to receive the footage of the members of SAE, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, reciting the racist violent chant? Let's say that, well, let's say, unfortunately in this case, playing what if is useless, because we already are. We are truly and fully unaware of the history of SMU's most popular, well-funded sororities and fraternities. And I will pause and say that I know a lot of great people in these sororities and fraternities, and this is not an attack on like all of them, but it's kind of like, how does it go? Hate the sinner, not the sin. Hate the sin, not the sinner. This is a system that needs to be changed around. And I know a lot of people are like, we can't ban Greek systems. If we don't ban them, there sure as hell needs to be a change, because this is not working. Anyway, so in truth, the SAE footage was not a wake-up call for OU or any other university across the country. Instead, the incident was a warning shot. Universities across the nation are being forced to answer the question of whether they are responsible for housing and supporting some of the most racist institutions, and well-funded. We have an opportunity to voice our concerns directly to the top. So, what if you had the opportunity to speak with the president of the university himself, President Turner? I'm sure with the new Boulevard rules, a lot of people have stuff to say. But what would you ask? What are your demands? This town hall is designed to address some of the deep burning issues that plague this university and face them head on. And many of the universities just like it face these issues. Together we are strong, and together we can strategize. Together we can mobilize and affect change.
I think one of the largest things, or one of the larger issues, is really, and I've experienced this as well, going to SMU as a student of color, you're forced to kind of pick a side. And that is, a lot of the students in my experience here, I've come to realize, they come from various backgrounds. You have the affluent, the elite, and then you have the not so affluent middle class, and you have those who are on scholarship, and when they're not studying, they're at jobs. So there's a wide range, there's a pretty wide spectrum of students. And in every single one of those spectrums, or every single one of those places on that spectrum, I think, in my experience, I've realized in speaking to students, you're forced to pick. And that's something that people who are affluent, whether outside of the black community or the minority community for the sake of the conversation, they don't have to make a choice. So my experience, I have to make a choice between succeeding, or what other people would consider to be success, getting my degree, trying to network, trying to secure my future, versus defend who I am. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Yeah, and that's something that you have to, deal with on a daily basis. Do I want to? It's almost as if the bubbles are right next to each other, but they're so far apart. Like, I want to be able to succeed, and I want to be able to engage with my fellow brothers and sisters who look like me, as well as those who don't look like me. But in order to do both of those activities, in order to serve both of those communities and be active in those capacities, I have to neglect my studies, or I have to turn down a scholarship, or I don't have time to fill out an application for a scholarship. Black students are not being able to, whatever the issue is, it's not really, blaring like in-your-face racism or anything like that, but it's more so having to pick. And even beneath that, like that's just the surface of it. Beneath that, like having to pick, not knowing how to choose. And to some people, the options, they're not even in front of them. Like they don't see options at all. So a lot of it is just being on the fence and not knowing which side to choose.
We need to fight these issues together. It is important that you are here, and it is important that these Caucasian students are here too also. And you guys joining forces can take that issue at hand. But unless we all look at this as this is an issue for all of us, if it's an issue for him, it's an issue for you. Because if he has to choose whether he addresses this issue or not, that's the wrong thing. But think about how all the people that came before you, what choices they had to make a better opportunity for you.
I feel like this is a very human issue that has to deal with we're being misunderstood and nobody's listening. How can we resolve this? It's not a we hate you, it's a we don't understand and we're not listening to each other. So I think that probably one of the biggest things that needs to happen is a real dialogue, not a sugar-coated, PC, like, oh, I'm gonna say this so they don't hate my guts kind of thing, but like, really like, how are you feeling? Like, how do you see this? Is this like a problem to you? Do you not see it as a problem? Like, those are all valid answers because it's your opinion, and I feel like the lack of expression, when like apathy is much more hurtful than the opposite, or having an extreme love or hate. Like, I would much rather hear somebody's hate than their apathy, because that at least lets me know that you're listening. Like, I need to know that you're feeling something. Like, we need to know what's going on, because we're not trying to hate each other. We're not trying to destroy each other. We're trying to destroy a system that divides us.
Keep on walking, keep on